Hi, I'm Christian, and I'm the one behind the Instagram handle Abelskov. I'm a massive watch nerd, especially when it comes to dive watches. Today, I'm going to tell you a bit about this Certina DS action diver and the new 40.5mm with a Powermatic 80 movement. I've been given this watch by Ditter.dk to review, and I just have to say, it's a super lovely watch. It's one of those watches I have that you could say is among the watches where you get the most value for money. Certina has been producing watches since 1888, and they've especially worked a lot on this BS system, which stands for double security. They were known previously as some of those watches that could really withstand an extraordinary amount of punishment. That's partly something they've ensured by having an extra absorption ring inside the watch, which sort of absorbs many of these shocks, which was especially something that took a toll on watches in the 60s and so on. Today, it's still something they're developing, and this one has the brand new DS system. So there are more absorption materials between the case and the movement, which absorb some of these shocks and knocks they can get in you could say, in a harsh environment, which it's built for. It's a diving instrument, you could say, like it was in the old days. It's ISO certified as a proper dive watch, so it has all these features it needs to have to be ISO certified. They've previously made a 38mm, which also has a Powermatic 80 movement in it. That came out about, is it 4 years ago, I'd imagine? But you could say things like, especially the clasp mechanism here on the bracelet, that's something they've developed a lot since. The new DS Action Diver 40.5mm has something that I think is super cool. My arm expands a lot from, for example, the morning until the evening. If it's very hot, like in the summer, then my arm also expands and contracts when it's cold in the winter, for example. So Certina has made a really cool feature where you can extend the bracelet by actually up to, good link, I'd say, and you can push it back together here. It's something I use very much. It's really lovely. There's a ceramic bezel insert on this, and that does several things. It means, among other things, that it becomes more scratch resistant, it doesn't fade over time in color and so on, but it also means that it becomes more robust. It doesn't get scratched as easily as an aluminium insert or something. Steel insert would also do. There are gold hands, and indices also have small gold, you could say, frames on them. And the bezel insert itself, which is then ceramic, there are also some of those, you could say, gold indices in there. Super lovely watch. Super Luminova with lume on it. It does that quite well. It's definitely one of the ones I have that has really good lume. It's not like, how should I put it, a strong green tone like Seiko's Lumibrite has, for example. It's more of a light blue lume on this one. So that's also really nice. With the Certina DS, they've had this, you could say, partnership regarding sea turtles for many years. And that's also something that really speaks to the brand itself. You can see there's a sea turtle print on here, and on the case back we have a really nice sea turtle. So it's also something they really care about, that we look after oceans around the world so that we can go out and experience them. But one thing they don't make a big deal of, you could say, for that very reason, is the watch box. It's made of quite decent, hard, fine cardboard, but it's not like what Omega makes, for example, with huge lacquered wooden boxes and so on. Certina is now owned by the Swatch Group, just like Omega, where you could say Omega is perhaps one of a slightly higher profile brands, and Certina maybe sits a bit lower down. So I'd actually say quality-wise, now this one is also from 2006, so it's got a few years on it, hasn't it? But quality-wise, this really holds up very well, and you pay much less for the brand itself than you would for an Omega. But if you're in the market for a watch of super, super fine quality that lasts your whole life, and most likely for the next generation too, then this could very, very, very well be something you should take a look at. As I said, it's a watch I've been allowed to review through Ditter.dk. They're the largest online watch retailer in the Nordics, so I definitely recommend going in and having a look at their website. They have everything from, you could say, at least price-wise, cheaper watches, still of a really fine quality and good materials and so on. And then they have genuine Swiss watches in super fine quality as well. So do go in and check it out. If you have any questions about watches in general, I have nearly 20 or 25 watches that I've collected over time. So you're always welcome to, well, ask on Instagram, send me a message and so on. And until next time, take care. See ya.